Hello everyone, myself Jamil Dalsania. Today I am going to demonstrate the working prototype of my project Appcatalyst, which is basically a hosted platform for the website. So this is the UI of my website where it takes the Git URL. As soon as we click the deploy button, it will make the post request over the backend and the further process will carry on. So let's try to paste a Git URL from the GitHub. So now let's take this Git URL and paste it over here, and let's click the deploy button. As soon as we click the deploy button, it will spin up a task in the AWS ECS cluster where a build image has been already. It will try to generate or create a build folder. Once the build folder is generated, it has been pushed over to S3 bucket. Here we can see a task has been spinned up, and here is the deployed URL. It's a preview URL. Here, after clicking this, it will show the access denied because the building stage or the deployment stage is currently in the process. Once it's get deployed, the website will be rendered here. Here you can see it has started to show the build logs that has been directly fetched from the AWS task logs. Here you can see these logs has been directly fetched, and once the website has been deployed, you can see real-time logs here. Now let's wait for the website to be deployed, and you will at last you will see all the logs. And I had implemented this log facilities using the Redis, so it's a real time using a socket. The logs has been fetched real time. Here you can see the website has been deployed, and here you can see the real time logs has been published here. Now as soon as we go to the preview website that has been accessed denied, once you're trying to refresh it, you will see that the website has been deployed here. Now let's move to the architecture of our project. So this is the overall architecture of our projects. Now let's get a deeper dive on each component of the project, and let's understand why the structure is scalable. So we have an API server that is running on the port 9000, and it will, as we click the post deploy button, it will take the Git URL and make a post request. For this Git URL, a Docker container will be spin up. What the Docker containers will do, it will fetch all the GitHub code and run it over this Docker container. And the reason behind the project being scalable is that for every Git URL, multiple Docker container has been spin up, so this makes code scalable, and parallelism has been also been achieved since multiple Docker container is running for the multiple Git URLs. So in this way, parallelism is achieved. Now once the build folder has been developed, it will push over to the S3 bucket. Here we can see let's open the S3 bucket. And see, once the build folder has been established, it will push it over to the S3 bucket. S3 bucket will contain all the dist folders like index.html, style.css, assets, and script.js, etc. Let's see. Here you can see we have and here a build output folder has been established, and here you can see that different assets and HTML file has been there. And now once this HTML file is generated, we will use reverse proxy to get the content of index.html over by clicking the preview URL. So what the reverse proxy will do, it will take the client request over to the web server, let's say S3 bucket. It will fetch the index.html content and send it back over to the preview URL. So in this way, we are able to get all the contents or say deployed URL over our website. Now talking about the logs, as I had mentioned earlier, I had used the socket IO to get the real-time logs from the task logs, where I had used Redis for the PubSub model, where the socket client will subscribe over to the channel and get the real-time logs here. Now let's talk about the folder structure of the project. In the folder structure, we have 3 different servers, and for each server we have 3 different folders: API server, build server, and S3 reverse proxy server. So let's firstly go for the S3 proxy server. So in this S3 proxy server, we have one base URL where all the output folder or build folder has been there, and whenever the request has been coming, this has been redirected over this base URL. Now in the API server, we have an index.js file where we had firstly made a ECS client, and then we have a app.post or the /project. So whenever we click the deploy button, it will make this post request and will spin up the task. And now the real-time logs has been established through IO connections, where the client makes the connections over this connection channel, and we'll get the real-time logs over it. Now let's talk about the build server. So build server will have a main.sh and script.js file. This script.js file main is responsible for putting the object over the S3 bucket and get the real-time logs. We have a Docker file. Docker file will copy the codes of the main.sh and script.js. Main.sh will contain export a git repository, clone the repository, and then run the scripts. So this is overall folder structure and architecture of our projects. So I hope you like it. Thank you.